Hello the channel, welcome back guys. Hope you're all having a nice weekend. Been a tough one so far, but there we go. Win or lose, we've been on the booze. Couple of beers, still enjoyed the Saturday, and now we're on the green Sprite. Anyway, has to be green, doesn't it? Just turn it around so you can see Sprite. So a bit of product placement there. I'm not sponsored by Sprite, by the way, just in case you're wondering. So anyways, thanks again for watching. We're going to do the preview for midweek. We do have a few things on midweek with the other European competitions starting outside the Champions League. We've got La Liga playing midweek as well, and obviously under 23s and everything open too. So first and foremost, a good idea just to have a look at the fixtures and see what we've got going on. So Tottenham playing against Karabag, really nice fixture there, 2.81 XG, 54% clean sheet percentage is actually pretty high. I mean, Tottenham don't keep many clean sheets. It's an interesting one as well from the point of view of being sort of the lower competition, as it were. So I think Ange will still take this pretty seriously. He's been going on about how he always wins something in his second season, so I don't see massive changes happening here. I don't really have any Tottenham players, but obviously it's important if you do. Real Madrid against Alaves, so 2.46 XG and 57% clean sheet percentage. I don't have predictor Fi up at the moment because Celtic are not playing, and also I'm doing this on Sunday, which is quite early for predictions. Real Madrid I'll come back to talk to in a wee bit more detail, obviously, when I'm picking my teams, but I'm finding them a wee bit difficult to call at the moment. Probably a bit of bad luck as well. I mean, he scored 4 goals, which was kind of along lines with, or in line with expectations, and Courtois scored an OG. Danny Carvajal left him out thinking he'd be rotated, and he scored, and then he got injured. So what can you do? Sometimes just a bit of bad luck as well. Manchester United against 20, that is a really good fixture. I think that's, if had cards, that'd be one I'd be targeting. 20 have been really poor this season. I mean, I remember a couple of years ago they were one of the best sort of Sorare stacks around. Unerstal, Smalls, Aruki, Cherny and all that, they were superb. But I think they'll get battered, to be honest. That's going to be a real tough game for them. Barcelona, sadly, have got a good fixture as well. 2.23 XG and 55% clean sheet percentage. They're playing against Getafe. Eintracht Frankfurt against Pilsen, so that's an interesting one. 2.1 XG and nearly 45% clean sheet percentage. And the new goalkeeper, they get a young guy, has been minted now with, I think it's Trapp, injured. AZ, so that's interesting, been up there against Elfsberg. Pretty good team, AZ, and I do have a few AZ players myself, also Duro, Parrot, etc. So 2 XG, not as high in terms of clean sheet percentage. I suppose Elfsberg will be pretty handy there as well. Who else stand there? Galatasaray is there against Palk. Pretty decent fixture there. We've got River Plate playing midweek. That's interesting. I think Fenerbahce probably a wee bit better value than being that far down. I mean, they were poor against Galatasaray, but I think they'll bounce back. And USG have not really. They've went a bit downhill, really. And Bodo Glimt, I think, are at home against Porto. So that's an interesting one because Bodo are quite hard to play at home. They're one of those sort of funny teams who are playing that sort of wee pitch, and they're difficult to play against. Remember them hammering Celtic at one point as well. So anyways, let's have a look and see what's actually on, and then we'll do some team building as well. Probably have a bit more time to do some team building too, with obviously there been no sort of Celtic on and everything as well. So we'll go to the La Liga first. It's torturing me, so let's go and just get it out of the way. Just get it right out of the way. This might get promoted, probably not. I think it's currently shown as being promoted, but still got Barcelona everything to play, so I don't think it will be promoted. So anyways, Thibaut Courtois, I think that makes most sense. I think defence-wise, Rudiger's got to come back in. The only problem is it uses up that spot that where I've got the non-in-season cards, so that's where it's obviously a wee bit more difficult. Tchouaméni played in defence, so that's kind of interesting. See what's going to happen. But Rudiger's been rested, and Tchouaméni obviously isn't a defender either. Midfield wise, so Bellingham sounds like he's got some shoulder issues again. With Atletico coming up, I think he'll be rested, to be honest. I don't see why he wouldn't. So that makes me sort of fall on Modric or Güler. Güler came off, I think, on 55. Modric played the whole game, but I could see Modric starting again, actually. The good thing is he's scoring pretty well when he's starting. So it's not the worst punt in the world, really. Up front, I think I might just do something completely different and play Endrick. I mean, there's a lot of chatter that he's going to play. Mbappe's not really been doing a huge amount for me. I guess you could play Lucas Vasquez as well, but Endrick's most likely to get decisives, and then that leaves the last position open. Rodrigo, I think, played 85. Again, Endrick could maybe play with Mbappe and Rodrigo drop into the bench. I can't play Vinicius Junior in here, which is a shame, just because you need 4 in-season cards. So I think what I could do is attack the under-23s with Vinicius Junior and Rodrigo, and then it's Mbappe or Guler in there. It's a difficult one. I really could see Mbappe being benched, and just not from a performance point of view. I think it's more from a point of view of like being rested for Atletico Madrid and then the Champions League game that's coming up. So there we go. That's a weird, obviously, in-season team to be whacking out, but I'm going to go with that as a first draft. And then for Team 4, I could use Mbappe somewhere else, right? I can put him in like All-Star or whatever. So we'll follow on under 23s next, because that is a good place to go in terms of choosing teams, etc. So All-Star, don't have any super rare sort of under 23 goalkeepers for midweek, so we'll have a wee look and see what we can get out in the under 23s. So it's looking a bit sparse actually, but that sometimes can work in your favour as well, right? Not everyone will have guys from Real Madrid and everything, so let's see what the rewards are like. If there's a star in here, that'd be pretty good. Yeah, there's a star available, so I think it's definitely worth going for in here. So I could play Owusu Ojuro. Thomas Gillies got a game, that's kind of interesting. Karl Hein's been good too. Don't know why Gillies is not showing up here. It's weird. Wonder why that is. Maybe just the data's not available for a competition. Agrizabala should play against Roma, although that's quite a tough away game as well. So I think I'm going to go with Owusu Ojuro at home, to be perfectly honest. Defence-wise, I think it's probably going to have to be Formos Mendy. What is this? Yeah, so in typical fashion, I had cocked it up. I still had my under 45 filter on for the cap 200. So there we go. Formos Mendy was rested after international. So you see this, he got 3 good scores and then rest after playing for international team, then back in the team. I think he'll play again. Could be tempted by Wrench as well, seems pretty good. Again, Bellingham, it's quite hard to leave him out. I think I'll just fire him into some sort of team with Mbappe, etc. Just in case they all start, obviously. Could still play Arda Güler here, so it's nice having the classic Arda Güler as well. I do think he'll get a lot of minutes actually, and it's a pretty good fixture. So we could do this, which is a really, really strong team, and obviously Vinicius was in really good form. Even if Rodrigo maybe doesn't start, he's always quite dangerous from the bench as well. Güler would be tempted captain option wise, but if Modric starts, then Modric usually I think takes the sets. So, it's quite hard to call. Seen Rodrigo taking them, seen Modric taking them, seen Arda Güler taking them as well. But if it gets me, that's really good, and obviously Vinicius can obviously bang it against Alaves there as well. We will have an under 23 limited team to put out as well, so let's have a wee look at like that. It's always nice having these teams obviously to play midweek, which is really good as well to have 23s. So yeah, I've loaded this up, and it's kind of similar options to what we had in the rare competitions as well. I don't know if we've kept that under 23 D1. I really want to be in D1 actually, because obviously with the stars and everything available, you see obviously there's quite a few, I think 5 stars available midweek, which is really quite good. So I think go similar with Owusu Ojuro. The only problem with that is I won't have an in-season cash pump team, but I'm not really too bothered with that. Nothing really that strong of any Tottenham guys or anything. Picked up a Jarell Hato. Interesting. He's been pretty good in terms of scoring, and I got the special edition, which was quite nice. So limited wise, Bernaby has been really, really good actually. He's been playing every game, so I guess I can kind of keep an eye on that. Destiny or Doggy would be definitely be tempted by at home, against Karabag. Pretty a low sort of XP, but that big game where I think he'll get forward a lot as well. Midfield wise, so I don't have a Guler here, which is a shame. I do have a Camavinga, but he's injured. Should probably get a Guler at some point, shouldn't I? But I'll probably just start Ponso. Still been scoring like amazingly well, but has been putting in a wee bit of AA, which is encouraging. Ryan Gill, I think, will start. Didn't start the last game, so I think he'll come back in for this game. And then Sergio Gomez away at Nice is going to be difficult because they're in really good form, aren't they? Really good. They scored like 8 goals. So yeah, this isn't the strongest of lineups. Probably just going to go with Bernaby in there. He's kind of pretty much a form player at the moment, really, isn't he? Like, Bernaby captain. I dare say a lot of people will not really have somebody like that as their captain. Anyways, I think we're going to be straying away from the European League in season now, so contender is open, although I don't really have many players playing, so I'm not really going to focus on that so much. So La Liga, we can get a second team out in season. Karl Hein, the absolute hero, but then we've got to use all in-season cards. Alejandro Baldi's probably due a big score, although he's also probably due to be rotated. Could take a risk on Fran Garcia, actually. I think Mendy will probably get rotated. Midfield-wise, it's difficult to leave out Bellingham, isn't it? But I think I'll probably just go with Tchouameni. Kylian Mbappe. I think with Carvajal being injured, Lucas Vasquez could easily have a big game from right back, and it gives another option as well to cover both of the bases. So we've got a really nice under 23 team out, and then we've got obviously 2 good La Liga teams. This 3-1 might actually go up into Division 2, and I don't think this will be in Division 1 actually, because we've still got Barca and everything to play, as I was sort of saying. So I really like to look and see what else we've got on special wise. So we've got an underdog on, which is quite nice, and we've got a classic European League as well. So see what we can actually get out for that. Again, I don't think I've got a lot of good coverage for these teams, but then a couple of stars in here as well is quite interesting. So as it is. Yeah, I've got Livakovic. Fenerbahce have been interesting to say the least. Interesting, the right word? I don't know. Satalo against Besiktas is quite a good option, I think, as well. Besiktas can be a bit hit or miss. Was it a tough game for them away at Ajax? Midfield wise, Szymanski was one of the better performers, really. Rangers playing away at Malmo. Probably just going to stick with Szymanski. So kind of pretty much got a stack in there for Fenerbahce, and I think Osimhen's got to go in there. I'm pretty sure he's okay to play. I remember he missed a game recently because I think it was because the Galatasaray game was rearranged in the league, so that's understandable. USG were a bit poor, so let's have a wee look actually and see what the general stats are for guys like Tadic, etc. Always good to know. So Tadic estimated 66. You see the Kulusevski, etc. up in the 90s, so that's very interesting. I guess I could throw in guys like that as well. We'll have a couple of teams in this competition, I think. Captain wise, I think we'll go for Tadic. So might play some of the Bodo guys at home as well, which is quite interesting. To be topical, obviously we've got specials and we've got the underdog, so let's have a look at that, and we'll probably pick a team for that, and then the rest of them we can do more off camera when my head's working again after the hangover. So what are the underdog rules? Underdog rules are: show your scouting skills by entering players with an average score of below 50 in the last 15 games. Well, I'll have plenty of them, I think. Right, so this is where the spreadsheet is really good. So again, this spreadsheet is from Sorare Probabilities, S_probabilities on Twitter. Because a lot of people always message me and say, oh yeah, that's a good spreadsheet and everything. Did you make that yourself? And if you know my IT skills, then The answer to that's probably not. No, I didn't make it. So what I've done here is basically I put in last 15 average score max of 50, so that complies to competition. Then we can see who the best guys to use are. So Thomas Guille obviously fits, which is really good. I think that Sorare have already filtered this out, which is quite good. Bardacci is surely an interesting one at home for Galatasaray as well. I do think they'll take that quite seriously, so I think that he was one I had on my radar there anyway. Need to check on his availability obviously too. Midfield wise, so obviously PS's projected score. Papi Sarr's a pretty good one actually. I don't think he played the last game, but probably more on rotation. So I think Sarr's an interesting one there. I think he came on for the bench the last game. Need to double check that. But again, the Tottenham fixture really kind of stands out, you know. Got Memphis Depay for sale as well. Got him around about the Euros if anybody's looking for a card. So we've got a couple of options here. Gabriel Martinez is on a 72. He seems to score really well when he's playing. Again, he's relying on rotation back in, but it's a bit more a free hit because it's not like divisions, you know. Like going to one of my rants about divisions or whatever again, but it's quite good to be able to enter and just know that you can take some risks without being like hammered for it too much in terms of getting relegated. Branko van der Boomen's one who usually scores pretty high, but obviously relying on rotation in. And Daniel Gonzalez is coming up with a really nice high score here as well. So these are the names people are not really familiar with, but guys like Daniel Gonzalez will be quite cheap. And I think he plays the same team as Guille, so that's pretty interesting actually. I might just captain him because he does have obviously quite a high projected score, 56, but Bardacci's a bit higher actually, but fits in quite well with the defensive stack there as well. We'll remove that. I think we'll see just before I finish if we can get any like sort of super rare team in, etc. For a bit of fun, I mean, we do have a Courtois scored an OG. At least he scored. It's indecisive. Not necessarily in a good way, but we do have an all-star as well, and I do feel, you know, credit where it's due to Sorare. I mean, you look at the midweeks, there's actually quite a lot on now, and they have listened from the point of view of, you know, we've got a couple of entries into All-Star, and also in All-Star we have boxes, right? So we don't necessarily have any cash in Classic, we do have boxes, and, you know, hopefully by Tuesday we'll have hit these sort of targets. So 473 in limited, I'm fairly sure based on the box so far I'll definitely get that. Rare 440, that might be another game week, it just depends on how things go between now and then. Now I've went back to the wrong page, so they press about a million buttons to get back to the right back. Anyway, getting a bit more used to the layout now. Do quite like this stage, this screen after you press discover all competitions. That's a lot easier to sort of work with, I think, as well. So in goal is going to be Courtois. Do have an Olofsson, do have a Mandrea, but yeah, I think it's got to be Courtois. Unless there's any news to say that there's something happened, he's not going to be playing or whatever. Defenders wise, Gomez away is a difficult one. I mean, he can still do a lot of damage away from home, but I don't really think that's a good fixture per se to pick him in. So I'll have a look at the news for Junior Alonso. I mean, he scores pretty well in general as well, so we'll see. Danny Parejo is an interesting one at home as well. So he's only that's away actually. But Espanyol have been pretty poor. Alan Varela with estimate 65. Actually, it looks as if, although it's Porto, Evgen and Hoga, etc. are kind of rated for this, I might just go ahead with them, to be honest. Griezmann, again, well, I'll be interested to see if he plays later. I might actually just leave him out, which is really difficult to do, but I imagine his minutes are going to get managed a bit for the Real Madrid game as well. Interesting one, because Troy Parrott's not really that reliable. I've got to go with Griezmann. It's dead hard to leave him out. Suppose I can use Parrott in the next team, and then where's Jen Peter Hoggett? Yeah, I could do that and go with Evgen as a captain. Then we've got a second team in as well because we Sergio Gomez is playing. Sorry, Olafson is estimated on a projected 80, but a clean sheet percentage 22%. So that suggests that there's an expectation that it'll be pretty busy. To be honest, it'll be pretty busy. So All-Star, Super Rare. And it's quite nice to get a couple of Super Rare teams out midweek. So go with Mandrea. Again, there's a wee bit of doubt about him starting, etc. But he did. Sergio Gomez playing pretty well. Dani Parejo, I'd mentioned before. Again, with it being a back-to-back midweeks, more of an interesting one in terms of whether or not maybe he gets rotated. He's nearly the same age as me these days. What was Sebastian Szymanski? Troy Parrott could easily do pretty well at home. Again, I'll need to check on Parejo. But I've got Amad Diallo listed. That's an interesting one. The only reason for that is just because obviously his values went up a lot and it's a special edition card there as well. Probably want to leave him listed just now. I might switch him in because I think that he'll continue to get minutes in that competition, even if maybe Garnacho and Rashford come in and be the number one starters in the English Premier League. So I'll probably put in Parejo there just now. I quite fancy Troy Parrott to do pretty well at home as well. So there we go. That's about 20 minutes. I think that's enough for midweek. I mean, there is quite a lot on. Unfortunately, I don't really have much on by way of the cash comp, but just as a reminder, if you're going to be playing the midweeks at a cash comp, obviously Tottenham, sure a lot of people have cards from like the EPL, etc. Maybe some Manchester United cards, so they are pretty good fixtures. Eintracht Frankfurt is a good outsider as well. I do think AZ, a lot of people maybe been picking up some AZ cards for the Eredivisie special, so that could be a nice one just to go to the Eredivisie, the cash comp for the Euro games, and then the second round, I think the Eredivisie coming up as well. Galatasaray, I think, will do pretty well at home. That will be a pretty hostile environment, and they'll be buzzing after a really good result against Fenerbahce as well. So definitely loads happening, definitely loads going on, and then next weekend we'll have Celtic back again as well. Remember, there's also a special next weekend where you only need to put in one animated card. I've seen some listed on the market for fairly reasonable prices, so I'll show you just before we finish what I've kind of done from that point of view. But yeah, I mean, if you're picking up good young players, etc., it's always quite nice to pick up maybe a special edition. So 30 quid for Hato. I mean, he's selling for over 20 quid without being a special edition. So I think from that point of view, that's quite a good pickup. He's only 18, got loads of utility, and under 23s is in classic mode anyway. Anyway, this will be the last salute for Mbappe because that's the competition over, right? Isn't it? But we've got to end in customary fashion anyway and say if you're playing midweek, good luck and go fuck.